Well, hey, grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Dezay. It's good to be with you on this Friday as we put it all together this week. So, we are approaching the fourth Sunday of the Easter tide, the Easter season. This coming Sunday is the Good Shepherd Sunday, so we kind of know our intersection up front. But we're here to kind of talk about the four passages that we've been reading this week. And let me put them on the screen. There we go. And so we're talking about John chapter 10, verses 11 to 18. Now, this particular passage is where we get the Good Shepherd from. So Jesus says he's the Good Shepherd. Jesus says he lays down his life. He says he knows his sheep and his sheep know him, knows his voice. This is a passage that took place immediately after Jesus heals the blind man. And Jesus also says that there are other sheep, referring to the Gentiles. Our second passage on Tuesday was 1 John chapter 3, verses 16 to 24. This is a passage that John, the same guy, probably wrote the Gospel of John that we just talked about in Monday's passage. This John defines love as Jesus laying down his life for us. That's what love is. It's sacrificial. It's costly. It's action, and that's who God is. God is love, is this sacrificial, cruciform, cross-shaped love. Love is a way of life, right? So then Wednesday, we talked about Acts chapter 4, verses 5 to 12, which is follow-up to another healing. And they're talking to Peter and John about whose authority did Peter and John heal this man, and really it was Jesus' authority. Jesus is the one who did the healing. And because of this healing, above what's going on, it says that there was 5,000, their number increased to 5,000. So this resurrection, this blooming that we've been talking about is happening, right? Salvation and healing is happening. God's kingdom is advancing, and it's open to all people, even blind people. Even the lame that we see in this passage. And then yesterday we talked about Psalm 23. We all know the 23rd Psalm, right? We're familiar with that. Talks about the Lord is my shepherd. David is trying to communicate this idea that God is our true shepherd. God is our true ruler. And he's pointing to Jesus without knowing Jesus. He's pointing to Jesus. He's helping us see that there is one who truly is our shepherd, our ruler. And he provides and he protects in the ordinariness of life, and also through the valley of shadow of death when we're going through crisis. Such a beautiful song. So what are the intersections this week? I wrote down Good Shepherd, of course. Jesus is our Good Shepherd. That theme of shepherd and sheep kind of are woven through these passages. This idea of love, that love saves and love heals, remembering that saving and healing are the same word in Greek. And so when Jesus is saving somebody, he's healing them. He's healing their wholeness, right? And that's the reason why we see this specifically around physical healings that Jesus communicates. There's this talk of salvation, that Jesus is bringing healing to the sin in our lives, the damage that sin has committed against us. And so Jesus is bringing about salvation. He's bringing about healing. Another one I wrote is love is action. And so we see this in the definition of love in John. 1 John talks about love is sacrificial love. Love is something that you do. You help someone in need. You don't just watch them. You participate in God's healing for that individual in need. I wrote down this idea of we listen to the voice of the Good Shepherd, that we hear his voice. We know his voice. He knows us. We know his voice. So we listen to the voice of the shepherd, and we love those that God leads into our path, because love is action. Love is sacrificial. So we need to hear the voice of the Lord and obediently follow the voice of the Lord to be able to reach the people that God has called us to reach with his love. And then I wrote down love builds bridges. Love builds bridges. And that he prepares a table before us in the presence of our enemies. So this love that is a part of the shepherd builds bridges to our enemies, builds bridges to the Gentiles, these other sheep. There's bridge building happening. So those are the intersections that I saw this week. What intersections did you find? Again, keeping in mind they might be completely different, but share them with someone, share them with me. I'd love to learn from you. And we'll be back next week to prepare our hearts and our minds and our lives and souls towards the fifth Sunday of Easter. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Hope you have an amazing time worshiping Jesus. Take care. Grace and peace.